So what you've seen is a, dare I say, combined effort where these tech companies, the bigger ones, work with each other to suppress, even though they compete against each other, one thing that they generally agree with is the politics and where they're at. That's what they tend to agree with. And what you've seen, what you saw, this is why Alex Jones was never going to be the last one, right? Or it was just like, and everybody kind of, yeah, it's Alex Jones. He's just a lunatic. He's crazy. That won't ever happen to everybody else. And then here we go. Now, interesting enough, though, before I get to the meat of what I don't know if y'all saw this, Twitter public policy announced this. I'm just going to read it. This is a real verifiable tweet from Twitter public policy. Ahead of the Ugandan election, we're hearing reports that the internet service providers are being ordered to block social media messaging apps. We strongly condemn internet shutdowns. They are hugely harmful, violate basic human rights and the principles of the open internet. Like, I can't, there's not even much that I could even say on that. They just said that. So basically what they said is like, y'all don't do the banning. We do the banning. Also, YouTube Insider says, this was this morning. Oh, no, excuse me, last night. Said, after a review in light of concerns about the ongoing potential violence, so much of those concerns about the ongoing potential violence, guys, at a couple of people kicking up their feet at Nancy Pelosi's desk. Never mind what's been happening for the last 5 months by these groups. You're so concerned. You're so concerned about the potential violence that they removed new content uploaded to Donald Trump's YouTube channel for violating our policies. It has its first strike and is temporarily prevented from uploading new content for a minimum of 7 days. Given the ongoing concerns of violence, we will also be indefinitely disabling comments on the president's channel, as we've done to other channels where there are safety concerns found in the comments section. Yeah, that's what they care so much about, guys. But see, even though we discussed this, now this isn't really necessarily about just the alt-tech revolution, which is going to happen, right? YouTube, specifically Twitter, I think Twitter is going to be the first one out. It's going to be harder to dethrone Google, particularly because they have a genius monetization scheme with their advertisement. Twitter, not necessarily. Twitter has monetization, but it's just simply not to the degree that they have it. But Twitter is the one that I think that'll be the first one to become obsolete. It was on its way out anyway, but I think that's the first one that'll become obsolete. But my frustration with these, whether it be politicians or commentators who sit here and think that the solution is to get government, right, to take over the platform. So they want government to come regulate it to hell. Hell, some GOPers are even calling to nationalize Twitter. These guys on crack. You've seen the shares of these companies start going down. Twitter and stuff start going down. Let them fail, guys. Stop being so short-sighted. I know it's frustrating, but let them fail. Let them run themselves into the ground. But if there is a play to make, I've always said, look at all of my videos. I'm not making up anything it is that I am saying. What I was talking about was, how about looking at how these companies are subsidized by the government? And I'm not saying, because quite often it's not with these tech companies. It's not always, it's hardly ever, to be fair, is in the form of a direct grant or a direct subsidy or even a loan. For the most part, it's in working with like them contractually. So your government, your government steals your money, of course, via taxation or selling off assets of unborn people. And then they package it to then enter a contract with a lot of these companies, be it through advertisement and like we have with Amazon Web Services, through contracts. Did y'all know? Hey, fun fact here. Did y'all know that early on, this was even before Amazon Web Services was able to turn a profit, they nailed a swelling $600 million. Wow, what a short change. $600 million contract with the CIA. Did y'all know that? No, of course, they don't lead with that. And it's not like your beloved conservatives are sitting here saying, look at this is a problem. Fun fact, I don't think Amazon Web Services became profitable until like, and again, it's one thing to bring in revenue. It's another thing to actually be able to turn a profit. And by the way, go fact check everything it was that I said. I believe this was around 20, I forget the name of the actual like program, if you will, but it was a $600 million CIA contract that they had with Amazon. I'm not making that up. I'm not Amazon Web Services. I'm not even making that up. Go verify all of that. And often it's, kind of like with the, Department of Defense, and they're working with the NFL, like that's how they get paid. And that's how they're propped up. It's not the only way that they're propped up, but that's certainly in a way that they're being propped up. Right? So with that being said, what one politician did, which I'm not saying necessarily it has to be primarily in this form. What I'm saying is this is the idea. So Randy Fine, Florida House of Representatives, says he was asking the governor to immediate divestment of any Florida-held equity and debt of the following companies: Facebook, Twitter, Amazon, Apple, and Google. And he says that last week's attack on the blah, 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 yeah, he's apologizing is the dumbest fucking thing he could possibly do. So that was useless. But he was saying, I'm deeply concerned, blah, blah, blah. No matter what, he remains, blah, blah, blah. He says, clear that Twitter and Facebook are engaged in a one-sided viewpoint discrimination targeting conservatives. These companies allow actual terrorists around the world to use their platforms, which is absolutely true. And it is not disputed that Amazon, Apple, and Google are actively working to eliminate alternative outlets where conservatives can speak freely. So the argument right here, though he doesn't go into detail with it, is that he wants to not have funds, if they are in some way have funds going to these companies by way of the state. That was always going to be the winning battle. And if y'all led with that, you'd be surprised how much shit is uncovered in terms of how much money they're making from governments. By 2015, fun fact, this is what I meant to bring up earlier before I lost my train of thought. By 2015, Amazon Web Services were working with 600 government entities. Not my opinion. Go look it up. They were bragging about it. 600. Who, of course, are going to be among their biggest like financial base. 600. I'm not making that up. That's not my opinion. Verify, just like with the CIA thing, verify all of that. Go ahead. I got a lot of confidence in what it is I'm saying because I did the research myself. Don't take my word for nothing. You should never take my word for nothing like that. Go look it up yourself. 600 they were working with. Now that doesn't mean that was worldwide. That wasn't just 600 with with America. But I'm saying that to act like they are just getting all of their money by way of private institutions is just dishonest and verifiably false. So to me, the battle is to focus on that. Let's get all of that stuff uncovered. How much in some way, shape, or form is government money going to Apples of the world, the Googles of the world, the Facebooks and the Twitter by way of advertisement, by way of government contracts. Let's see how much. And if we could get that removed, I bet you bottom dollar that they start changing up their tune. Or they're just going to go under. And to that I say, let them fail, baby.